Good afternoon, class. My name is Erin R, and I will be your instructor for today. I have a great mini lesson today planned for you on anthropology. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. All right, let me just hit click on this presentation and we will dive right in. So the question we have at hand today is, what is anthropology? Anthropology being more than a bachelor or master's degree you can earn in the social sciences. It is literally the study of humans. Anthropos being the Greek word for human being, and logi being a suffix meaning the study of, right? So anthropology is the study of essentially what it means to be human in all its complexities. So anthropology addresses a couple basic questions of human existence. Where and how we originated. How and why did we change over time? How are we changing still? And what does this mean for the future? Why is this important to know? Because we are constantly in a state of flux, and that state of flux is rapidly increasing. If you think about the rate of technological development in just the last 15 to 20 years, you can see how rapidly we are progressing, right? I didn't have an iPhone 15 years ago. I think I'm on like my 7th now. And that's just one example. How do we look at where we're going in the future if we can't see the totality of where we've been and how we got to this moment in time? How did we literally get from being lower level primates to the Homo sapiens we are today? So to start off, anthropology is holistic. And that means that we are interested in the whole discipline rather than the collection of its parts. We are looking at the whole human and all of the things that come into play when we are literally studying humanity. So we are looking at the whole of the human condition, and that is going to include our past, present, and future, which means that anthropology has to involve history. It has to involve the study of geography, of languages. It has to include the study of present day politics, culture, and sociology in order to really understand the human condition as it exists now. Anthropology must be familiar with technology. We must be familiar with the directions that we are headed for it to be holistic and to understand the human condition as a whole. In addition, we also have to look at biology. Right? We are living, breathing cellular machines at work 24/7. What does that mean for us being human? We have to look at the societies we create, all the different societies, not just the big ones, not just the ones that are given attention, but all the systems a society creates, from the microsystems to the macro. We have to look at language, not just our boilerplate languages of English and Spanish and French and Arabic and Chinese, but body language and emotional language and psychological language and all the ways in which we communicate with each other that have nothing to do with the oral words that were spoken, but all comprise language. We have to understand culture. We have to look at culture, explore it. What do people eat? Why do they eat that way? Where does that food come from? Have they always eaten that way? What does that tell us about who they are and how they came to be and where they're going? And looking at the total of it is anthropology. So anthropology has 4 subfields that come together in a holistic way to make it anthropology. And the first is cultural anthropology. This is where my strongest background is. And cultural anthropology examines cultural diversity of the present and recent past. Archaeology, which reconstructs behavior by studying material remains. So if cultural anthropology is looking at the language, the clothes, the food, the customs, the rituals, it is archaeology that provides a lot of that material, right? They're studying the material remains of bygone cultures. bringing them to the forefront for cultural anthropologists and historians and psychologists and a myriad of other disciplines to explore. We have biological anthropology, which is the study of human fossils, the study of genetics, bodily growth, and non-human primates. Understanding our closest living relatives of chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, orangutans gives us valuable insight into our own genetics and into the ways that we evolved. Linguistic anthropology looks at speech and how it varies with social factors, how it changes over time and space. Linguistic anthropology is also going to look at regional specific speech. Why do I speak the way I do, having lived in Southern California my whole life, whereas someone from Boston or New York, they're going to use different slang than I am. They're going to speak at a different rate than I do. I'm probably speaking incredibly fast right now because that's how everyone out here speaks. Another great thing that I learned from a linguistic colleague is that in California, I just did it, we say and like a lot because we talk so fast. So we put these pauses in. Linguistic anthropology tells us what these pauses are, where they come from, how they came about, and also teaches us what's coming in the future. How is language changing? All right, so where do we begin with all of this? For anthropology, the best place to begin is going to be evolution. Understanding how adaptation, variation, and change led to lower level primates all the way to Homo sapiens. Adaptation is a process by which organisms cope with various environmental forces and stresses in order to survive. If you don't adapt, your species die out. So humans adapt two ways. They adapt using biological and cultural means. And this rate of change has sped up considerably over the past 10,000 years. For millions of years, foraging was the sole basis of human subsistence. Hunting comes later on as we move down the evolutionary chain. Food production doesn't come until about 10,000 years ago. And then it takes thousands more years to perfect. It seems like a long time when I say thousands of years to perfect, but the planet is almost 5 billion years old. So really, it's a drop in the bucket compared to the millions of years it took us to go from a lower level primate to Homo sapiens. And then boom, we create agriculture, we domesticate livestock, and then things really start picking up. So from that comes the first civilizations, right? So here, if I can kind of divert for a bit, is a great example of how anthropology is cross-disciplinary. We're going to have a mini history lesson right now that is very much important to the study of anthropology, but is also history, right? So anthropology is everything. It covers such a great broad spectrum of subjects. But back to this. So the first civilizations are going to pop up about 3,000 to 4,000 years after the agricultural revolution. And they're going to occur between the Tigris and the Euphrates River here in Mesopotamia. Today's global economy and communications link all contemporary people directly or indirectly in a modern world system that has its very foundations right here in Mesopotamia. And this is going to happen about 7,000 to 8,000 years ago. So everything that we know today, from the way that we barter, from the way that we build, from the way that we create government and religion and ritual, all of it is going to have its origins to the origins of civilization right here between the Tigris and the Euphrates. That was our lesson for today. It is very brief. There's a lot more we could dive into, but for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and stop right there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I have at the very least made you curious about anthropology. I hope you go forth and investigate. Cheers to a wonderful afternoon, and I look forward to seeing everyone real soon. Bye.